Providence Municipal Court. A corporate executive in a $2,000 suit walks into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom with the kind of arrogance that fills a room. She's here for a simple speeding ticket. It should take 5 minutes, maybe pay a small fine, and she'll be back in her corner office, but 42-year-old Jennifer Hartwell makes a decision that will haunt her for the rest of her life. As Judge Caprio speaks to her, trying to be fair, trying to listen, she does something so shockingly disrespectful that the entire courtroom gasps. She raises her hand and gives Judge Frank Caprio the middle finger, right there in open court, on camera, in front of dozens of witnesses. What happens next is not just justice. It's a masterclass in why respect for the system isn't optional, and why some mistakes can't be undone. Before we reveal the devastating consequences of Jennifer's moment of rage, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now, because we're racing towards 600,000 subscribers, and 97% of viewers still haven't subscribed to Judge Stories. If this story about respect, consequences, and the justice system defending its dignity makes you believe that courtrooms are sacred spaces, leave a comment below, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Judge Caprio's response to this insult became legendary. Here's a question. When did our society forget that some places and some people deserve automatic respect, regardless of how you feel? Because what happened to Jennifer Hartwell proves that contempt of court isn't just a phrase. It's a line you never ever cross. Tuesday morning, 10:45 a.m., Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff calls Jennifer Hartwell. Citation for speeding. 68 in a 45 mph zone. Jennifer walks in like she owns the place. Designer suit. Armani, probably. Expensive leather briefcase. Rolex visible on her wrist. Hair perfectly styled, makeup flawless. Everything about her screams money and status. But there's something else in her body language. Contempt. The way she walks to the podium. The dismissive glance around the courtroom. The barely concealed eye roll when she has to wait for the judge to finish with his paperwork. Judge Frank Caprio looks up with his characteristic warmth. Good morning, Ms. Hartwell. I see you're here regarding a speeding violation on Route 95. Please tell me what happened. Jennifer's response is ice cold. Your Honor, I was driving to an important business meeting. The speed limit on that stretch is ridiculously low. Everyone goes 65 to 70. I was going with the flow of traffic. Her tone isn't explanatory. It's accusatory, as if the traffic laws are personally inconveniencing her. Judge Caprio remains patient. Ms. Hartwell, the officer clocked you at 68 in a 45 mph zone. That's 23 miles over the speed limit. That's significant. With all due respect, Your Honor, she interrupts, that section just changed from 55 to 45. It's a speed trap designed to generate revenue. Everyone knows it. There's an uncomfortable shift in the courtroom. Several regulars exchange glances. This woman is already on thin ice, and she doesn't seem to realize it. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change, but his voice firms slightly. Ms. Hartwell, whether you agree with the speed limit or not, it's posted clearly. When you're driving 23 miles over the limit, you're putting other drivers at risk. Jennifer lets out an audible sigh, the kind you give a child who's being deliberately difficult. Your Honor, I've been driving for 25 years without an accident. I'm a safer driver at 68 than most people are at 45. The prosecutor speaks up. Your Honor, I should note that Ms. Hartwell has 3 prior speeding violations in the past 5 years. 2 were paid. 1 was reduced through traffic school. Jennifer's face flushes with anger. Those are irrelevant to this case. Judge Caprio looks at the file. Actually, Ms. Hartwell, they're quite relevant. They show a pattern of speeding violations. This isn't a one-time mistake. This is habitual disregard for traffic laws. I don't have a habitual disregard for anything. Your Honor, I have places to be, and speed limits that don't reflect modern vehicle safety standards. The courtroom is getting uncomfortable. Even people who've never been to court before can sense that this woman is digging her own grave. Judge Caprio tries one more time to be reasonable. Ms. Hartwell, I understand you feel the speed limit is too low. But the solution to that is to petition the City Council or the Traffic Authority, not to simply ignore the posted limits. Your Honor, with respect, I don't have time to fight City Hall over every poorly conceived traffic regulation. but you have time to come to traffic court repeatedly. Judge Caprio replies, "It's a fair point, delivered without malice." But Jennifer hears it as mockery. Subscribe to Judge Stories on YouTube if you believe respect for the court system is the foundation of civilized society. Judge Caprio reviews the officer's report and the traffic camera footage. "Ms. Hartwell," he says evenly, "Officer Patterson noted that when he pulled you over, you were argumentative and refused to provide your license initially. Is that accurate?" "I asked why I was being pulled over," she replies sharply. "That's my right. You absolutely have that right." The judge agrees. "But according to the officer's report, you told him he was wasting your time and that you had better things to do than deal with incompetent traffic enforcement." Jennifer doesn't deny it. "I was late for a meeting, Your Honor. A very important meeting that cost my company money because I was sitting on the side of the highway." "Ms. Hartwell," Judge Caprio responds calmly, "you were late because you were speeding. The officer didn't make you speed. You chose to break the law. The law is arbitrary," she fires back. Judge Caprio's patience is wearing thin, though he maintains his composure. "Ms. Hartwell, the law is not arbitrary. The speed limit exists for safety. Your belief that you're above it because you're in a hurry doesn't make it arbitrary." "I never said I was above it," she snaps. "Your actions say otherwise," the judge replies firmly. "4 speeding tickets in 5 years, arguing with the officer, standing in my courtroom suggesting that speed limits don't apply to you because you have important meetings." Jennifer's jaw clenches. "Your Honor, I came here expecting fairness, not a lecture." "Fairness is exactly what you're getting, Ms. Hartwell," Judge Caprio replies evenly. "The fine for going 23 miles over the speed limit is $385, plus a mandatory driving safety course due to your prior violations." $385? That's outrageous. "That's the law, Ms. Hartwell. The same law that applies to everyone else who comes through this courtroom." Jennifer's face is red now. Her hands grip the podium so tightly her knuckles turn white. "This is absurd. I run a division at Northeastern Financial. I make decisions that affect hundreds of employees, and I'm being treated like a criminal because I drove 68 miles an hour on a highway." Judge Caprio's voice is firm, but not unkind. "Ms. Hartwell, your job title and income don't exempt you from traffic laws. The person who came before you was a delivery driver making minimum wage." Jennifer stares at Judge Caprio with pure rage in her eyes. Her breathing is heavy, her face flushed. And then, in a moment of spectacular stupidity, fueled by entitlement and fury, she does it. She raises her right hand and extends her middle finger directly at Judge Frank Caprio. The courtroom erupts in gasps. Multiple people say, "Oh my God," out loud. The bailiff immediately steps forward. The court reporter's hands freeze over her keyboard. Judge Caprio's face transforms. The warmth that's always there, the compassion that defines his courtroom, vanishes. It's replaced by cold, controlled fury. "Ms. Hartwell," he says quietly, his voice carrying like thunder, "did you just make an obscene gesture at this court?" Jennifer, realizing the magnitude of her mistake, but too proud to back down, lifts her chin defiantly. "I expressed my opinion of this process, Your Honor." "Wrong answer. Catastrophically wrong answer." "You expressed your opinion?" Judge Caprio repeats slowly. "By giving this court the middle finger. In open session. On the record. In front of witnesses." Jennifer says nothing, but her expression says it all. She's starting to realize she's in serious trouble. "Ms. Hartwell, do you understand what you've just done?" "I made a gesture, Your Honor. Freedom of expression." The courtroom is dead silent. Everyone knows they're witnessing something extraordinary, and not in a good way. Judge Caprio stands up. And when Judge Caprio stands up, you know something serious is about to happen. "Ms. Hartwell," he says firmly, "you didn't just insult me personally. You insulted this court. You insulted the judicial system. You insulted every citizen who respects the rule of law. And you did it with premeditation and clear intent. Your Honor, You are not speaking anymore." "Ms. Hartwell, you are listening." The command in his voice silences her immediately. "In my 35 years on the bench," Judge Caprio continues, I have dealt with people who were angry, frustrated, scared, and confused. I have shown compassion to single mothers who couldn't afford fines. I've dismissed tickets for elderly people on fixed incomes. I've given chances to young people who made mistakes. He pauses. Do you know why? Jennifer doesn't answer. Because they showed respect. Judge Caprio turns to the bailiff. Bailiff, please approach. The bailiff walks to the bench. Judge Caprio speaks loud enough for the courtroom to hear. Place Ms. Hartwell in custody. She is being held in contempt of court. Jennifer's eyes go wide with shock. Wait, what? You can't? I absolutely can, Ms. Hartwell, and I am. Two court officers move toward the podium. Jennifer takes a step back, suddenly terrified. Your Honor, please. I'm sorry. You didn't mean to disrespect this court. Judge Caprio interrupts. You raised your middle finger deliberately, Ms. Hartwell. There was clear intent. You knew exactly what you were doing. The officers are now flanking Jennifer. She looks like she might cry. All her corporate confidence evaporated. Ms. Hartwell, Judge Caprio says, his tone steady, I am holding you in contempt of court. The penalty is 30 days in the Providence County Jail, with the possibility of reduction to 10 days if you demonstrate genuine remorse and understanding of why your actions were unacceptable. 30 days? Your Honor, I can't go to jail! I have a job. I have responsibilities. You should have thought about that before you decided to insult this court. Jennifer's voice is shaking now. Please, Your Honor, I made a mistake, and a terrible mistake. Please don't do this. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't soften. Ms. Hartwell, every person who comes before this court makes mistakes. That's why they're here. The difference is most people show respect, even when they're admitting fault. You showed contempt. I'm begging you, Your Honor. Additionally, he continues, the original fine of $385 is now increased to the maximum penalty of $1,000 for excessive speeding with prior violations. You will also complete a mandatory 40-hour driver education course, and your license is suspended for 90 days pending completion. Jennifer is openly crying now, mascara running down her face. Please, Your Honor. I'll do anything. I'll apologize publicly. I'll pay whatever fine you want. Please, don't send me to jail! Ms. Hartwell, Judge Caprio says firmly, the time for apologies was before you made that gesture. The time to show respect was when you walked into this courtroom. You chose arrogance and contempt instead. The prosecutor, who has been watching with appropriate seriousness, adds, Your Honor, for the record, Ms. Hartwell's contempt was witnessed by myself, the court staff, and approximately 40 citizens in the gallery. It was deliberate and unmistakable. Thank you, counsel, Judge Caprio replies. Ms. Hartwell, you will be processed and held pending transfer to the county facility. Jennifer looks around desperately, as if someone, anyone, in the courtroom might save her. No one meets her eyes. Everyone knows the truth. She did this to herself. Your Honor. Jennifer tries one more time, her voice breaking. I'm 42 years old. I've never been arrested. Please, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Judge Caprio finally sits back down. His voice is slightly less harsh, but still firm. Ms. Hartwell, I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to listen carefully. Jennifer nods through her tears. The contempt charge stands. You will be processed and held. However, I'm going to give you one opportunity, to demonstrate genuine understanding of what you've done wrong. A flicker of hope crosses Jennifer's face. You will spend the next 72 hours in custody. During that time, you will write a detailed statement explaining why your actions were wrong, why respect for the judicial system matters, and what you've learned. If that statement demonstrates genuine remorse and understanding, and not just fear of consequences, but actual comprehension of why courtroom respect is essential, I will consider reducing your sentence. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, I'll do it. Thank you. I'm not finished, Ms. Hartwell. He leans forward, his gaze steady. If your statement is self-serving, if it makes excuses, if it demonstrates that you still don't understand the gravity of showing contempt to a court, you will serve the full 30 days. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor, I understand completely. Bailiff, take Ms. Hartwell into custody. As the officers lead Jennifer Hartwell out of the courtroom in handcuffs, her designer suit now looks ridiculous in this context, a symbol of arrogance stripped of its power. Judge Caprio turns to address the packed gallery. "Ladies and gentlemen," he begins, "what you just witnessed is something I never enjoy doing. Holding someone in contempt, sending someone to jail. These are not actions I take lightly. The courtroom listens with rapt attention, but they are actions I take seriously when necessary. Because this courtroom represents something bigger than any individual case. It represents the rule of law. It represents the principle that we resolve disputes through a civilized system, not through might or money or status." Judge Caprio gestures toward the now empty podium where Jennifer had stood moments earlier. Ms. Hartwell came here believing that her position, her income, her busy schedule entitled her to special treatment. When she didn't get it, when she was told that she had to follow the same rules as everyone else, she responded with the ultimate sign of disrespect. He pauses, letting his words hang in the air. Some of you might think 30 days is harsh for a gesture, but that gesture wasn't just rude. It was an attack on the foundation of our justice system. If we allow people to show contempt to the court without consequences, we're saying the court doesn't matter. And if the court doesn't matter, then the law doesn't matter. And if the law doesn't matter, then we have chaos. An elderly man in the back row nods vigorously. He's probably in his 70s, wearing a veteran's cap. Judge Caprio notices. "Sir, I see you nodding. Would you like to share your thoughts?" The elderly man stands slowly. "Your Honor, with permission to speak, please." "Go ahead." Judge Caprio nods. "I'm Robert Chen. I served in Korea. I've been coming to this courthouse for various matters for 40 years. And I want to say, you did the right thing." The courtroom murmurs in agreement. "When I was young," Robert continues, "we were taught that certain things are sacred. The flag, the church, the courtroom. Places where you show respect automatically, whether you feel like it or not. That woman," he shakes his head in disgust. "She forgot that. Or more likely, nobody ever taught her." "Thank you, Mr. Chen," Judge Caprio says warmly. "You're absolutely right. Respect for institutions isn't old-fashioned, it's essential." Another voice rises from the crowd, a middle-aged woman. "Your Honor, I'm a high school teacher. I see this attitude every day. Kids who think rules don't apply to them because their parents have money or status. Seeing that woman held accountable gives me hope." Judge Caprio nods. "That's exactly the issue. We've created a culture where some people believe status exempts them from basic decency. It doesn't. A corporate executive follows the same traffic laws as a delivery driver. A millionaire shows the same respect in court as someone making minimum wage. That's not oppression. That's equality. Where are you watching from? Comment your city if you believe respect for the court system should never be optional." Judge Caprio continues, his voice calm but commanding. "Ms. Hartwell will have 72 hours to think about what she did. To really think about it. Not just worry about the consequences. If she emerges from that experience understanding why courtroom respect matters, I'll consider leniency. If she emerges still thinking she was unfairly treated, she'll serve the full sentence." He pauses, his words echoing in the silent courtroom. "Because here's what I want everyone watching to understand. This courtroom exists to serve justice. But justice requires respect for the process. You can disagree with a ruling. You can appeal it. You can even think the judge is wrong. But you show respect to the institution while you do it. Ms. Hartwell forgot that. Or perhaps no one ever taught her. Now she has 72 hours in a jail cell to learn what should have been taught to her as a child. Some places, some institutions, some people deserve respect, regardless of how you feel in the moment." Judge Caprio picks up his gavel. "The next time someone walks into this courtroom, thinking their money or status puts them above basic respect, I hope they remember Jennifer Hartwell. I hope they remember that contempt of court has real, immediate, and serious consequences. Court is in recess. The gavel falls. Subscribe to Judge Stories on YouTube right now for more moments where the justice system defends its dignity and teaches lessons that should never have been forgotten." Jennifer Hartwell walked into that courtroom as a corporate executive. She left in handcuffs, as a reminder that respect for the law isn't negotiable and contempt of court isn't just a phrase. It's a serious charge, with serious consequences. That day, Judge Frank Caprio proved something that every older American knows deep down in their bones. Some things are sacred. Some lines you just don't cross. And when someone does cross them, when arrogance challenges respect, when ego defies justice, there must be consequences. Because if there aren't, the system itself begins to crumble. That day in Providence Municipal Court wasn't just about a speeding ticket. It was about respect, accountability, and the simple truth that no one, not even a corporate executive in a $2,000 suit, stands above the law. This is what justice looks like when it defends itself.